Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you on this November 21st, 2025. I got all of your stories for your rush hour ride to work. And on this episode, we've got some big updates regarding Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively, the court case of the year in celebrity pop culture. But it's getting really interesting as a content creator posted a video asking for help in unearthing some big story, and then his account was banned. Well, it's back, and there's new information. We're going to get into that. Second half of this episode, we'll talk about the Congress people, the men and women that are now speaking out after the president said they are committing, I believe, seditious behavior punishable by death. It's wild. I've got all of those responses, what was actually said, how the press secretary actually manipulated and lied point blank. We've got it all for you. We'll get to that after. And we'll cover some other stuff going on. I mean, it's a wild time to be alive. And boy, it's been a wild time for me. How about this? Got a couple pieces of content that just came out. I was featured on the Law and Crime Network. Look, they got 7 million subscribers. Had I known that, I wouldn't have worn my hoodie, although it was my favorite Costco hoodie. But it was a great chance to talk about the Laura Owens trial. If you aren't caught up on it or have no idea what it's all about, go check that episode out. I really lay out all of the fraud, the reason why I'm a witness for the state of Arizona as they continue to crack open this case. I believe Laura Owens could serve up to 55 years in prison for all of the crimes she's committed. I don't want that to happen, but I want her to, own up to all of her lies anyway. So hello to all the new community that came from that show, and hello to the community that came from the Rachel Yucatel show. That's right, Misunderstood with Rachel. I did her show, which also came out yesterday. So very busy out there. We talked about all the pop culture, kind of what you get over here. You can just hear me rant like a lunatic. And if you enjoy hearing me rant like a lunatic, I also just did Reese Brown's podcast called Making Meaning. Got real spiritual. It was actually an amazing conversation. That doesn't air for a few more weeks, but Reese Brown, what did I call her? Reese Witherspoon? Reese Brown. I think she's my Reese Witherspoon. She found the show because of her mom, Paige. So shout out to Paige in our community for getting your daughter to listen to our program. Actually, we found this out this week. Someone said they were reading an article in Variety, and in the comments section, someone had mentioned the Rush Hour podcast. Again, folks, this is how word of mouth works. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Really. It means the most. And I love to give back, and we will be giving back this Christmas season. This is a thing we do here, if you aren't familiar with our channel. We have the Dave Neal single parent Christmas wish list. Now, you don't have to be a single parent. You could just be on tough times. Tell me your story. What's going on with you? If you're in our community, and I mean really in our community, if you're like, oh, I got a cousin who's, no. If you're an audience member and consume our content, you're part of our family, we want to help you out. Usually we get a couple dozen folks. So if you need help, sign up for our Christmas wish list over the weekend. I'll post a link in the description. You put your information and you do an Amazon wish list. Essentially, gifts that we can help you get for your kids. That's really what it's about, is providing a fun Christmas for those that money might be tight. And you'll do that Amazon wish list. Now, I'm also going to provide a link that shares a video with you guys of me kind of giving you some explanation of what to do. But I want to tell you right now, if you can respond with vertical video telling me why you would be a good recipient of our audience's donations, it'll help go that much further, because then I can share it with the audience, and they tend to donate when it's personalized like that. We'll get into more of that later, but this is only going to be up for a day or two, because we'll keep it up through the weekend for sure. So don't panic, but for, it tends to get a lot of people that sign up, and we try to help out as many people as possible. It'll be a great season. Trust me, when you see members of our audience, have a good cry because their kid got the toy that they couldn't afford, trust me, it's going to be a good thing, and our audience is all over that. Well, let's get into this Blake Lively story. So this is Marcos. He had a TikTok called Be Better. It's got a huge following, but he just stopped making content over the summer. For no reason, he just quit making content. I mean, maybe he's got some reasons, but unbelievable stuff. So he creates this new account this week. He makes one video, and it starts to take off. And it's him saying that he has information that is very bad, possibly about Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively. Then his account gets banned. Unbelievable stuff. Well, now it's back. A lot of people are calling him out, saying it's BS. He's doing it for clicks, which might be true, but it might be pretty crazy. Here's what he had to say.
Source who shared this information with me that is so disturbing and so illegal and so disgusting, it ended up what I believe to be true. So the reason why I'm making this video now is in the hopes that I can connect with somebody who is an actual journalist who can guide me on the best way to vet this information, because the last thing that I'm going to do is say something that I'm not 110% sure beyond a shadow of doubt.
Okay, so he goes on, and now the guy's got 157,000 followers. The thing keeps going up. I mean, geez, if we could just get a piece of that pie, it would be nice. So 2.3 million people, like, people are clearly interested in what he has to say. Could it be all BS? Yeah, it could, but he wasn't the one who disabled his account. He made some claims, then his account got banned. Now it's back up after review, and people are saying, hey, this is what you should do, giving me advice on who we should contact. Well, here is Sweet and Salty Lynn. She says she was in contact with Marcos, and he's been in touch with Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman. Let's have a listen.
I chatted with Be Better Marcos last night, and I'm happy to report that he has spoken to Brian Friedman. And I wanted to share this with you guys because there were so many comments and so many other content creators saying that he needs to do this. So everybody needs to know that he is taking the right steps.
And by the way, if I'm Brian Friedman and I see this clip claiming he might have some crazy information, I'm taking the phone call. You never know. The guy, he could be full of crap, but possibly he knows something and someone came to him that they didn't go to anyone else. I don't know. I'm weary. I'm always skeptical. Like, show the math. Let's see. You don't have to show your source, but will something come of this? Because TikTok does have that culture of exaggerating things. It's very clickbaity. Come on, we all got to compete in this world. But what's interesting about Marcos Be Better over here is he hasn't made any content in, 4, 5, 6 months. It's been a long time since he's really made content. So he hasn't been publicly exhausting, or I should say milking the tit known as the Baldoni story, like some of us content creators out here. Hey, you got to, cover the day-to-day. We're beat reporters. So again, what comes next? We'll be here to report.
And he is really searching for a journalist to help him navigate and help report this story and this information that he knows. Marcos and I also chatted about the fact that there are journalists who are scared to report on this because they know the truth, and it's scary. And we chatted about how some of them just want to make friendly content, and that's fine. That's respectable.
And I don't know. I mean, listen, I got a spine. I report on things, obviously try to vet them to the best of my abilities. You don't want to get harassed by someone if this is like a mega star, and you don't want to get sucked into legal issues. But if you know something's true, and most reporters understand, they've been in that situation, that the truth, you can't be defaming. If you have proof of what you're saying, then that's your guiding North Star, right? So that's why I'm a little skeptical. I'm like, listen, I mean, if this is as crazy as they say, I'm sure reporters would pounce all over it in that world. But I do understand, having come from the entertainment news world where I couldn't get anybody in my little bubble to cover the Justice for Clayton story, I do understand that the entertainment news journalists are not always equipped with the tools to handle a story that might involve like really serious vetting. But again, we'll have to see what comes of it. Very interesting stuff, and thanks to Sweet and Salty Lynn on TikTok for relaying those messages.
But for the journalists who are the true truth seekers, who want to expose the truth, that is what he's looking for. And that is his goal.
It should be pretty easy, right? If they have the evidence. Maybe they don't. Maybe there's some underground ring and it's like, oh gosh, who's got the time to deal with that kind of lawsuit? We'll have to see. Well, speaking your truth, we have a mayor-elect of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, responding to Donald Trump. Donald Trump said, communist mayor of New York City, Zohran Kwame Mamdani, has asked for a meeting. We have agreed that this meeting will take place at the Oval Office on Friday, November 21st. Further details to follow. That is today. It's going to be a wild time. It's going to be an absolute insane day. So I'm sure, hopefully by this afternoon, we'll have an actual clip. But here is Zoran on the street responding to the fact that, yes, he's going to go take this meeting on behalf of New York.
And he used your middle name in a social media post. What should we make of that?
I honestly can't tell you. No matter what someone describes me as or how someone wants to speak about these policies, the important thing is that they may care about the city. And I know that with the president, there is an opportunity to make the case for New Yorkers, and I will make that case to the president. I'll make that case to anyone in this country that can help New Yorkers.
Now, I think this is interesting because Trump actually does respect people that put up a fight. Like, he likes fighters. I think that's why he likes Zelensky, right? He brought Zelensky in to kind of push him around. Zelensky held his own, and I think it worked out kind of well, you know, in the dogfight that they're in, the war that the Ukraine is fighting against Russia, or I should say the war that Russia started against Ukraine, let's to be specific. So will Zoran go into that Oval Office ready to make nice? I mean, you know, it's really up to Trump. We'll see how that plays out. And speaking of Trump, I mean, we have some insane stories to share with you. I'm going to share Trump's response to the reel you're about to watch and why that's leading to people calling for his, the people are calling for his impeachment. It's absolute insanity. Quick word from our sponsors. We'll be back with this story next. The Rush Hour is sponsored by Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the best to become the best. What better gift this holiday season? I actually gifted Masterclass to a family member who was looking to add some levity to life. I gifted her Amy Poehler's class about applying the principles of improv to your life. With Masterclass, you get thousands of bite-sized lessons across 13 categories that can fit into even the busiest of schedules. With plans starting at $10 a month, billed annually, you get unlimited access to over 200 plus classes taught by the world's best business leaders, writers, chefs, and more. And there's no risk. Every new membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Masterclass always has great offers during the holidays, sometimes up to as much as 50% off. Head over to masterclass.com/rush-hour for the current offer. That's up to 50% off at masterclass.com/rush-hour. masterclass.com/rush-hour. This episode of the Rush Hour is sponsored by Veracity. Welcome to an all-natural way to slim down, get energized, and sharpen your focus. Veracity is revolutionizing health by tackling the root cause of so many issues, metabolism. With Veracity's drug-free, clinically proven, and doctor-formulated solutions, you can support your body's need to live your healthiest life. If your goal is weight loss, you need to try Metabolism Ignite, a natural, safe, plant-based aid that results in an 85% reduction in hunger and is clinically proven to lose, on average, 9 pounds in 90 days. I started Metabolism Ignite a couple weeks ago in just 2 capsules with breakfast. I feel energized and focused all day. Veracity is a unique blend of lemon, verbena, and hibiscus extracts, green coffee bean extract, and magnesium. Veracity doesn't just offer a quick fix for weight gain. The products actually help you maintain a healthier lifestyle. So make the switch to GLP-1s the natural way. Head to veracityselfcare.com during their Black Friday sale for up to 50% off your order. Once again, that's veracityselfcare.com for 50% off. All right, so there's a lot to share here, but hang tight. Lawmakers that are former military and intelligence officers were calling for service members to disobey illegal orders that might be issued by the Trump administration. Listen to this.
Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical.
So I think it's pretty clear. They're saying you can refuse illegal orders. That being, that right now we have the Trump administration ordering the bombing of boats in the Caribbean Sea. They claim that they're these narco-terrorists, but there's no due process and things like that. So this PSA is powerful stuff. But it has led to a response from the president, which we'll get to in a second. But here on News Nation, the political contributor George Will says the military is trained to use their own judgment when given an order, in cases where you're giving an illegal order. Here's what he has to say.
In a dangerous place where you have leaders of the major political party that is in opposition basically giving cover to members of the military to decide for themselves what is and is not an order they want to follow.
They are taught as part of their education as soldiers to make their own judgments about these. We are never going to hear again the Nuremberg defense. At the Nuremberg trials, Germans said, I was only obeying orders.
Right.
And we said, no, we're going to tell our soldiers that there are exemptions and that you do not shelve your conscience when you enlist in the military.
Wow, you don't shelve your conscience when you enlist in the military. So that's they said it multiple times, right? They said you're allowed to disobey illegal orders. That's what they said. So Trump responds, this is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up, ? This in response to the title saying Democratic veterans in Congress urge service members to refuse unspecified unlawful orders. So again, that's what you're supposed to do. You can refuse an order if it is unlawful. Trump says seditious behavior. If you're wondering what Trump is implying by saying that, he then continues, seditious behavior, punishable by death. It's just like when they said that President Obama was committing treason. And it's like, you mean treason's also punishable by death. So are you saying that a former president was committing these crimes and he should be punished with death? I mean, these are insane accusations. That would be insane. Like this is the type of stuff that gets you banned from social media as a nobody, let alone the president of the United States of America, especially with all of the political violence going on right there. Those comments by Trump have led to a slew of comments from people saying this is way over the line.
President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed. This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel normal. This, as far as I know, has never happened before in the history of the country. Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy right now.
And it really is. Marjorie Taylor Greene this past week, a Republican, has said that she has to have, beefed up security after Trump called her a traitor. Because it's like, if you're going to call somebody a traitor, those goons that are listening to you, just like on January 6th, those that stormed the Capitol in an insurrection, they're either reading between the lines or they're listening to what you're saying. So yeah, this is a dangerous, dangerous time out there. Now we have Caroline Leavitt, and she's wearing her cross today, which might light on fire. I'm not really sure. But she's wearing her Christian cross as she lies to the American people. Have a listen.
This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about
How about that question? Does the president want to execute members of Congress? Kind of like the Saudi guy did that hit on Khashoggi. Again, same reporter asking these great questions. Can we get her Venmo? Can we start giving? I'd love to buy her a cup of coffee, a good gingerbread latte from Starbucks, the expensive ones.
President is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way.
Oh, she's stuttering. Oh, she's malfunctioning. Can we turn Caroline off and reset her?
You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders.
Wrong. I mean, do we have to play it again? We just shared it. Do I have to play it again right there? They literally made it clear. If they're unlawful orders, that's all they said. So you're wrong. And I kind of think it's important when you're going to make these types of claims like the president is punishable by death. I kind of think it's important we cross our T's and dot our I's on this one.
No, Caroline Levitt is outright lying, actually. What she said from the podium is that there's encouragement of disobeying lawful orders. We actually said the exact opposite. We simply reminded folks of what the Constitution and law requires. But again, their lying and their propaganda and their twisting of the truth is an attempt to silence dissent and to use fear.
And listen, I mean, we know what's happening. I said this after Charlie Kirk's death when they tried to kick Jimmy Kimmel off the air. They completely twisted what Jimmy Kimmel said to make it something that it wasn't. We have to be immaculate with our words in this time in our society. I mean, we're literally like on the verge of a cultural civil war. Now, if you look at the polling numbers, most people are on the right side of the story, which there is a gigantic disapproval of the president. But unbelievable stuff. I mean, this ain't, you can say stuff's seditious behavior. We're still going to release the Epstein files. You know what I mean? So we've got answers from these folks that were in that video, and it ain't pretty.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin, senator from Michigan, former CIA officer. Earlier today, President Trump threatened myself and a number of other service and veteran lawmakers with arrest, trial, and death because he didn't agree with a video we put out this week. This really isn't about those of us who made the video. This is about who we are as Americans and how we're going to engage with people who we disagree with. I would hope that people of all backgrounds, Democrat, Republican, Independent, would agree that threatening death for people you disagree with is beyond the pale of who we are as Americans. Especially when you see that Trump's using his position to wage political battles against people using the Department of Justice. I mean, every single person Trump doesn't like, they look into their mortgage history and make sure that they're not claiming the wrong dependents on. I mean, you know what I mean? They're looking for crimes to charge people with. I love this country. It has given me everything. And I refuse to believe that this is the new normal. I refuse to believe that we're going to use fear and intimidation against people we disagree with. And I'm not going to be forced away from speaking up on behalf of my country. Bam, there it is. And we got responses from other folks. So yeah, this is wild. I actually heard a rumor, none of this is vetted, but I heard a rumor that they're counting numbers right now for an impeachment. They got to make sure that they got the numbers if they do this. But that's what they're saying, you know? All right, coming up next, I'm going to share what a congresswoman has to say after she was targeted by the president with death threats. I've learned that how you sleep is just as important as how long you sleep, and Lisa really delivers on the how. Have I ever looked so well rested? My Reserve Hybrid mattress makes me feel like I'm staying at a 5-star resort. From night one, you'll feel the difference. Premium materials that deliver serious comfort and full body support no matter how you sleep. Lisa mattresses are meticulously designed and assembled in the USA for exceptional quality. Plus, they back it all up with free shipping, easy returns, and a 120-night sleep trial. Lisa has been tested and awarded Best Hybrid Mattress by New York Times Wirecutter and is exclusively featured on West Elm as their go-to mattress partner. Go to lisa.com for the Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, plus get an extra $50 off with promo code RUSHHOUR. Exclusive for my listeners. That's LEESA.com. Promo code RUSHHOUR for 30% off mattresses plus an extra $50 off. Support our show. Let them know we sent you after checkout. Lisa.com. Promo code RUSHHOUR. Here we have Jolly Good Ginger approaching Congresswoman Ansari, asking her for comments after she received these public death threats by the president.
Congresswoman, I apologize. Have you seen the tweets from Donald Trump?
I have.
And I mean, as a sitting Democratic lawmaker that's being targeted by these, what's your response?
You know, this is the most insane and terrifying thing that we could possibly see. We know Donald Trump has unhinged, he has dementia, he's losing his mind, but this is taking it to an entire other level. He has been operating like an authoritarian since he was, inaugurated again in January, but this is terrifying, Jolly. I think if this is not the moment for every single Republican member of Congress, every single senator, every Republican governor, any person with influence in this country, if you're not going to speak out against this, then what are you even doing?
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. Those that have been pro-First Amendment that are now realizing that they're being silenced if they disagree with you. Those that are pro-Constitution and due process. Where are you? That is the question. Well, here's Captain Mark Kelly, an American hero, an astronaut. He had to say this: I've had a missile blow up next to my airplane, been shot at dozens of times by anti-aircraft fire, and launched into orbit, all for my country. I never thought I'd see a president call for my execution. Trump doesn't understand the Constitution, and we're all less safe for it. Yeah, so this is exactly why they made that PSA in the first place. If it comes to a time where there are military that are being told to do something that is illegal, stand down. That's what they're trying to say, which is let's not relive a time, that they did in other countries where people committed atrocities, all for the name of, whatever their dear leader told them to do. So here we have a Clayton for NC.com. He's running for office, and it's, this is the type of leadership you need in life, right? This is what you need, is someone who's willing to use their platform, however big or however small, to say, I'm not standing up for it. And he says if you vote him in for office, first thing he's going to do is file papers for impeachment.
Hello, thank you all for coming. My name is David Clayton. I'm challenging 82-year-old Virginia Fox of North Carolina's District 5.
By the way, this guy looks so jacked. Doesn't he look like he needs to be on the cover of like a military video game? Boy, or some sort of like romance novel cover.
I had a whole speech written out, but seeing Donald Trump's last words calling out any kind of opposition to him as sedition or treason or traitorous, issuing threats, death threats to Democrats, even Republicans like Massey, anyone that dares to question his ultimate authority. We have an issue today with our country, and it's beyond politics. It's beyond party. And frankly, with Donald Trump, it always has been. This is about power and control. This is not about the Constitution. On day one of winning my race against a Donald Trump allegiant loyalist that pledges an oath to a wannabe dictator over the Constitution, I will introduce articles of impeachment. And I hope every single one of my fellow candidates, fellow congresspersons will as well. It's a shame that there are so few currently in office that are still even on the fence of debating whether or not to do it. Because this has nothing to do with party politics. This has nothing to do with politics. You're either for the Constitution or you're not. If Joe Biden had done 1/10 of anything Donald Trump is doing today, I'd be calling for Joe Biden's impeachment. Politics and party aside, this is simply about the Constitution, we the people. I'm going to keep this very short for you because apparently I'm a seditionist. Apparently being anti-fascist makes you a terrorist. Today, in this land of the free, home and birthplace of Antifa. Well, Donald Trump, I say make duels legal again because you are a coward and your entire administration needs to come down. Impeachment is just the start. And honestly, it's frankly too polite for an unpolite scoundrel such as yourself.
Wow. God damn, I want to run through a brick wall for this guy. David Clayton, I might move to North Carolina now. Whoo, this guy. Wow. Interesting stuff. Let me know what you guys think. That's our show. I mean, what are you going to say to that? Woo, I need a cigarette. That's our show. We'll be back this afternoon. We'll see you then. I'm Dave. This is The Rush.